It started from Bounty not being at the funeral, but then the whole entire industry. Were you at the funeral, Ross? You didn't get to fly in.
No, I was over there. I think I leave Jamaica like at least I think 7 or 5 days before the funeral because the situation over here in New York and to come and address it. And
Yes, yes.
unfortunately, I couldn't made it to the funeral.
But would you have attended a merciless funeral if you were able to? Would you have done that? Would you made that choice?
Yes, sir. Yes, my brother. I would willingly. You know what I mean? Merciless was a good soul. I met Merciless, you know what I mean, in person. And he was such a beautiful, generous soul. You know what I mean? He used to do a couple, some clashing music and stuff like that, but he wasn't that type of guy. He was just doing it because that was his craft. You know what I'm saying? He was a very generous and positive, nice person. I'm telling you. And I know you heard that from a lot of people. So, you know, I'm not lying. You know what I mean? He encouraged me, you know what I'm saying? And always feed me with good words. Nice person. So definitely if I was in Jamaica, I would have definitely be at Merciless.
I'm getting a call from Badadan. I think I'll be heading over there. Today we're discussing the unity in the dancehall in the music industry, the strives in the dancehall industry, and the growth as to where dancehall and reggae need to go. You have some project working on, and I like that you're pushing out some new materials. What you have to say to your fan base as far as they getting on board?
Yeah, man. My name is Rasta Progress. You know what I mean? RASTAPROGREZ.
Yes.
You can find me on all social media platforms, and I'm working on an EP. But right now, I release the title track for the EP, and it's called it is called Inspired. You know what I'm saying? And Inspired, yeah. And yeah, guys, you know what I'm saying? I just wanna bring some encouragement to my people through this song right here called Inspired, and just to breathe some life back into the space, because lately it's like the space, you know what I mean, has become very destitute of the real spirit that we are as a culture, no?
Yes. We're getting you see what happened when it comes on to the link happening in Jamaica as far as crime. The government said that poverty plays a minor role in the violence, which I think this crime minister, he's been drinking some mad puss piss for the last 4 years, and I don't think he's in any way, shape, or form to really analyze the situation on a realistic level, because poverty plays one of the major role why the opportunities are not given to each and every one. But as you say, follow the crumbs, because you have Rasta Progress.
I'm going to hang up this phone,
right?
And then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. I'm going to show them a world without you.
And also
A world without rules and controls, without borders or boundaries. A world where anything is possible. Where we go from there is a choice I leave to you.
Freshradiovybz, the most feared internet radio station on planet Earth, the resistant radio station. Freshradiovybz. Freshradiovybz. Freshradiovybz, the most feared internet radio station on planet Earth, the resistant radio station. Freshradiovybz. Freshradiovybz.
Outep, this is King Alibaba. I represent for the International Morning Ride Show. You me told you. Outep, this is King Alibaba, straight out to Make Money Record. I represent for what you don't know, the International Morning Ride Show. Every Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. with the Five Masterman like Kadite. See me told you. Out there, this is King Alibaba straight out of Make Money Record, Jamaica. I represent for the International Morning Ride Show every Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. with the Five Master Gadite. See me told you. Live on Freshradiovybz, your number one online radio station. Hear me told you. Pull up a tune there, money pull up here, me told you. King Alibaba said that straight out of Make Money Record. You don't know, you know. Over the bridge, just King Alibaba represent for what? Money pull up Mondays here, I told you, don't know, you know. A Freshradiovybz now, kicking our laters now. Over the bridge, I want to see it, told you. Women say, why the poor of land get turned down
go past stage and talk about merciless, come back from foreign and look fat. What you do? Admire man and things like that. You know, bad life, you're not giving up blood clot next life. How we kick in your butt, you mash up your sex life. You know, name fear you, so remember me no fear you. You in a full suit of black, you little queer you. No girl now follow you, arrow come and a spear you. For this war, your friend them should have prepare you. You take it serious when time me a jeer you. Say reggae boy bring your joy, the world hear you. And you did ride west with Bandolero. Remember your first tune did name Batty Delero. Go shoot video with naked man near you. To Frankie Paul them start to compare you. Paper soldier member gunshot with tear you. Have your talent alone merciless I share you. You should have never called me name when me dear you. When Monster Empire do you make you a fear so loaded fuck your girl you drive it into Pajero. No she Vegas still have last year no. I revolt like some Camry Solero. Beanie take away angel and that scare you. This pull it. Merciless, Warred, Commanding Chief, Bounty Killer. I heard that you put on your square mouth and went to Claremont. Go past stage and talk about merciless, come back from foreign and look fat. What you do? Admire man and things like that. You know bad life, me not even a blood clot next life. How we kick in your butt, you mash up your sex life. You know name fear you, so remember me no fear you. You in a full suit of black, you little queer you. No girl now follow you, arrow come and a spear you. For this war, your friend them should have prepare you. You take it serious when time me a jeer you. Say reggae boy bring your joy, the world hear you. And you did ride west with Bandolero. Remember your first tune did name Batty Delero. Go shoot video with naked man near you. To Frankie Paul them start to compare you. Paper soldier member gunshot with tear you. Have your talent alone merciless I share you. You should have never called me name when me dear you. When Monster Empire do you make you a fear so loaded fuck your girl will drive it into Pajero. No she Vegas still have last year no. I revolt like some Camry Solero. Beanie take away angel and that scare you. The same slim brown girl where did I care you. When Stephanie lipstick never smear you. Now your mother was sorry say she bear you. Cause you got done porn star for the Nero. Out of me way me take me Glock 40 clear you. Cushion face your whole rocking cheer you. Oh, your mouth is full of a cocky here, so where warhead dead them shoulda never steer you. Your name a call say funny man rear you. From the last show you do a hand tear you. Me hear you left in a one drag queen come here. That scenario, war start me kill the rich and the fameless. But me I go talk a while though them fi dead nameless. But it's the same name, war is not a game. And from your this merciless, them I go feel pain. War start me kill the rich and the fameless. But me I go talk a while though them dead nameless, but it's the same name. War is not a game. And from them this merciless, them a go feel pain. Every year you start war with another DJ. If you want poor people governor, war VJ. Stop long up your mouth like when donkey a bray. Me make you sing the our father prayer back way. Run lap round the stadium track like relay. Inna your mouth me a go park me M16 Valier. Me hear say you a chuckle man bars like Pellier. The gal when you breathe say you yam fish fillet. Yam burger till you start call yourself big here. Shot a travel through your body like X-ray. When you land them now go find your body till the next day. Man inna your video they pan display. Me rise up the thing when make Teflon spray. Me HK bomber put them under clear. Me here say here Lord lie down under rape. Put him out on the field. That's why them get scared. Me never trouble. Yeah, that's right. Okay. You repeat what up like a instant replay. And did a plan for thief, but you people rape. This boy where we are gal bikini and lingerie. We used to sell figure palm and then a highway. He love Maron, but he no like craving name.
Yes.
But if we done with the war and try make we
Done with the war and try make we live as one. Yeah, I'm gonna get the video person. Yo, you know what got happen? You know what got happen if we don't straighten up on the video works? Me I know I gonna have argument, you know. Let me just say welcome to the Grand Rising Show. Another day right here. Big up to all the audience that is here right now. But the audience there. The audience there. The audience must there, you know. Yeah, we're not kicking out. That's what I'm talking about. Big up the audience inside here. Every single day we do this from 10 until 2. Sometimes we go a bit earlier. But we're always here for the people, trying to get you into that brain thinking position, because it's very important that we link up and keep it real. We touch on all the issues. We touch on issues that may be related to your neck of the woods, and we also touch on issues that may be related to my neck of the woods. Anywhere you are right now, we give you that platform where you can stand on and we can move forward. The desk is very busy this morning. I must say that yesterday cameraman, watch your ramp with me now. Watch your ramp with me, cameraman. Yes, I. So while we get our cameras all slated out, yes, big up to the Sai for hooking me up. Sai hook us up with a different style and keep us real. Yes, so as we've been saying a while ago, there's a lot of things that is popping. From a long time, we always try to let you be a part of it. The number to call is 260-209-260-209-8730. And we will get that information out to you. We start this morning with the world run. We will run across to see what's boosting on our video feed. First and foremost, we know that a lot of things have been unfolding, but we just take it one day at a time. DJ, do we have anything
Straight into business. I got no time to waste. See these arches? Because there's archangels that have a hierarchy. Some of them like Elohe, the blue flame, or Seraphe, gold flame, or the violet flame. They exist somewhere along the lines like 376,000 AD. From a metaconscious mind. To put things in perspective, here we are. There's Earth, and there we are in a subconscious mind. God exists outside of all of what we know. Right side of the brain is female, Isis. Left side is male, Ra. And the electricity that ties it all together is the Trinity. However, Isis, Ra, and El is Israel. Israel. Symbolism is power. I, Isis, R, Ra, and L for Israel. IRL. You really want the education to set yourself free? I'm giving it to you. 90-degree angle. 9 is 6 and 6 is 9. You don't need the 0. Degrees. There's degrees hot and cold. As above, so below. So when they're talking about the right hand angel, they're talking about the right degree angle. But symbolism is power. That same symbol is a 7 flipped upside down. As above, so below. Keep up. So a 7, Yeshua, is the L, Lucifer, as well as a 6 and a 9. So what's the square root of 69? 8.306, forget the rest. You get your 6 threes, 666, and 8. 33 levels of your vertebrae. Yeshua got crucified at the cross section. That 3 mirrored is an 8 for your split infinity, and 3 and 3 equals 6. I think the majority of people are having a hard time with this stuff because they don't understand how intelligent the fallen angels are. They have fallen
from their hierarchy into our realm. It doesn't matter what you are calling them, you are worshiping fake, false, fallen angel gods. Isis, Ra, El, Yah, Aya, Jah, Allah, God, El, God of Israel, the same one you see, and look both ways. This is my part one, it's just dropping the seed, okay? This stuff's very easy for me. I'm trying to assist people in waking up, but people are gonna have to let go of their religion in order to do that, because you're not gonna be able to do both. You wanna be with your brothers and sisters or documentation. That's what you're having a hard time with.
Wow.
Rudolf Steiner, you know, the Austrian mystic, he predicted, you know, that towards the end of last century and the beginning of this century, there will be a movement driven by big corporations to take the soul away from people, to disconnect people from the higher world. And in order to do that, we have to destroy the pineal gland in people. And I followed the research on that, and amazingly what we found, the pineal gland is the most sensitive part of our central nervous system and is highly, highly, highly sensitive to 4 things: aluminum, glyphosate, fluoride, and Wi-Fi. And we are the only country in the world that has pushed these 4 things in the last 60 years or so on everybody.
Mysterious fibrous clots are showing up inside people who have recently died. Some embalmers say the clots are found in most corpses these days, and they've never seen anything like it before. And a warning that some viewers may find the images in this report disturbing.
Several embalmers across the country told the Epoch Times they've been observing strange fibrous clots in corpses they work with. They report the phenomenon started either in 2020 or 2021. They say the clots stand out because they're exceptionally big, at a maximum as long as a human leg and as thick as a pinky finger. The embalmers also say that clots in corpses have become much more common. One embalmer said he finds them in 50 to 70% of all corpses he works with these days, up from 5.
Wow. I'm telling you.
Where the first Caribbean restaurant was in London. In 1936, Amy Ashwood Garvey set up the Florence Mill Social Parlour in Carnaby Street, a restaurant and club named after the African-American vaudeville star. Born in Jamaica in the late 1800s, she was married to one of the most famous Pan-African leaders. She was an active anti-colonial protester as well as an entrepreneur in her own right. The restaurant served food for African and Caribbean clientele, and Amy did lots of the cooking herself. Historian C.L.R. James was a big fan, remarking how much he enjoyed the food in contrast to the English food, which he found uneatable. Meanwhile, the nightclub was popular with the growing politically aware black people in London. Even the Sunday Express reported that race intellectuals from all parts of the world gathered at the club. Today in the UK, Caribbean food is worth over 100 million, and the number of Caribbean restaurants has tripled in the past 5 years. Before Ainsley, before Levi Roots, before Original Flavour was Amy Garvey.
Yes, Amy Garvey, and big up to the wife of the Right Excellency Marcus Messiah Garvey. We don't give her enough mention, and that you're hearing it. Amy Garvey, she opened one of the first international restaurant in the place called England. Big up to Amy Garvey. Let's see what's up again.
But Singapore and Australia, we have some common history, which was we both used to be owned by the British. Right? But that's all history, okay? I don't hold a grudge against British people. In fact, I think the British, they are a very important species. They are part of the ecosystem. Right? See, if you imagine the world to be like a human body, then the British, they are kind of like the large intestine, also known as the colon. Right? And the colon is the part of the body that turns things into shits.
Oh my God.
Which is what the British do to other people's countries.
Oh God.
That's why when the British take over a country, it's called colonization. I'm glad you all like that one. Because I once did that bit, and then a British guy in the audience got offended. He got offended at a comedy show. So I just said to him, well, dude, if your ancestors can take our land, then why can't you take a joke? At least the joke was given willingly.
Wow, they say at least the joke was given willingly. Big up to our people who are in the corporation of the British Empire. Yes, we have a lot of Brit that listen to us, and sometimes when we are, broadcasting, they are tuned in. I want to say something, DJ. I want to say something because, I have a lot of guests that come on the program, and I am going through a dilemma. If you come on the radio station and you figure more or less that you have to lie to our audience, you don't have to lie to our audience. Our audience are well intellect to deal with anything that, like for instance, if you come on the program and you hear us talking about helping our brothers and sisters, right? And you feel the need to help our brothers and sisters. You don't need to be lying to us and telling us that yes, you will do something and you won't do it. I want to big up all the massive who came on board for Nana McKnight. Nana McKnight, she has been through so much things. And Nana McKnight is the grandmother who lost her daughter, and she lost 4 grandchildren. And when it first happened, there was an outpour of emotions. The Maron Nation, through our spearheading and aligning with the Emperor in Nyankapong, to get some assistance for her Lady C in the UK, she went ahead and, she orchestrated a GoFund, and the GoFund bring in some payments, and we try to make more. We send what we got from you, our listeners and our viewers and people who support the Maroon government. We send it in, and after sending it in, we noticed that it shrivels up. But some people had made some pledges, and these pledges was to Nana McKnight. It wasn't to Freshradiovybz. It wasn't to the Maroon government. It was to Nana McKnight. Now, I am saying that Nana McKnight was told about some of these pledges that we put forward, and these pledges was supposed to assist her. I won't call name at this time, but I've been waiting on a particular individual who is very prominent on Facebook, very businesslike, and this individual, he knows himself. And I think that some people just want to derail our progress, so they join us. They join us because they figure more or less that, but Nana McKnight is waiting there, and I want to say credence to her for just being that giant that she is. She went to the first court hearing, and I think it was a challenge to her, but she still means well when it comes on to it, and we get it. But I'm asking people who have pledged to assist Nana McKnight, the lady who lost her daughter and her grandchildren, to live up to your promise. Live up to your promise. We can only be the change that we want to see. I am not perfect. I have done a lot of things that can be said. I am so much just trying to let everybody work with what we're working. That is something that we have to get along and try to move forward with. Now, the phone lines are open 260-209-8730. And I want to send a big shout out to C and G International. Yeah, the markets, they're not fully on board yet. We're still waiting on our marketing team to, get everything sorted out. We also want to say big up to our links in Montego Bay. And I wonder if Scottish Maroon, him always go on like him no one reason with the people them. But is a king where we can link with. But away from that, let me just say that big up to Lady C this morning. Lady C, we may have to give you a call as far as your office go. Big up all of the Maroon office them who keeping it real and making it as how it is. Do we have the links with Shango? We can make a link also. Big up to Bahamas. Big up to Raskapa. Yes. Make we see what go on. But as I said before, we don't want to come around here and promise the people them, because you're worse than the government when you do that. Let's get into some headlines now. Guyana marked 123rd anniversary of Tribal Award Defying Borders with Venezuela. Yes, Guyana celebrating 123 years right there. Grenada Prime Minister Dickens Mitchell outlined budgets. This is a young dude. We don't even know what go on over there about. We have to see what go on. Carafter signed MOU with Taiwan to empower women. Belize Police Commissioner opened to a state of emergency to deal with upsurge in murder. Jamaica Kevin Hendrickson named Caribbean Hotelier of the Year. Investigation launched into death of Guyanese student. I wonder if it's a pattern along now where students look up at them get targeted. See it happening in Jamaica there, and now it happened in a next island. Antigua and Bermuda chosen for global launch of Ocean Conservation Project. What is that about? Noel Matalon face additional charges in the Donnelly Donaldson murder case. 17-year-old Kingston Technical student charged with murder. World Bank economist says Caribbean economy yet to recover to the pre-COVID era. And of course, UN chief, world is in a life or death struggle for survival. I think yesterday we went through some of those headlines. The phone lines, I said, is open, and we need civil head to prevail. We're going through a very tumultuous time. We're going through challenging times, and we just want to stress on everyone that we're touching base all over the world. I try to reach who I can in the best way I can, but sometimes people are very much occupied, and I can't just infiltrate on their time. I want to make sure that we are getting everything orchestrated. Let's go over to Jamaica, and I wonder if it's possible to chat with one of our Maroon's headquarters over there. They have a very good space in Montego Bay that if you're heading to Jamaica, we can recommend you, and we can give you the numbers to call and have the necessary links in place. Do we have a tape lineup to play? We might have a tape lineup to play, because we do have the tapes ready. as you talk about tapes, yesterday Daniel Z. Bozra came on board, and he brought some good energy to the table, and we respect that. He's still adamant that do we have the tape? Because I don't want to talk too much. Yesterday I just watched what Daniel Z. Bozra had to explain about Richard Curry, and we're gonna get some more. I think, wow, Daniel went in hard yesterday on the issue. We're ready, DJ? Let's see what's going on.
Blazing, perfect, unadulterated black light. Genetics is an amazing thing. It is also a precursor of what is to come. Meaning, you will never see an eagle bring forth a child that's a ground dove. You will never see a jankra bring forth a child that is a hawk. You can only get mango from mango tree. That's a part of our reality. Meaning, a lot of my character has to, and my stance has a lot to do with my genetics. My father was offered $1 million during apartheid to go and play 6 cricket games in South Africa, 7 cricket games. $1 million, a house and a car. He had the integrity to refuse that. That's just a standard for my life. I am his son, so when you see me behave the way I behave, I will take a stance fearlessly. Because he took a stance. He was the only man who was offered that, who didn't go. As a people, one of our biggest weaknesses has been in attempting to associate what we would call progress, to associate it with how much we can mimic and behave like and do the things the slave master did. Meaning, most people are contented to look rich, even if they never get rich. Most people are contented with a partner that looks good, who may not necessarily be good. That is what has reached Jamaicans. That is what has reached the Maroons. That is what has reached the followers of the PNP. That is what has reached the followers of the JLP. That is what has reached so many of us when it comes to the critical decisions we have to make. We make them based on a look or what we think that thing should look like. Not necessarily what it is, but what we think it should look like. It's been plaguing us. It will continue to plague us until we step into our rightful selves and our rightful states of self-awareness and operate on that level. Saying this to say that those two issues, yes, Michelle, today it's supposed to go to court. But that court case is a sham. Nothing will come of it. Nothing can come of it. All right. It is what you call a fixed date claim, Michelle. And a fixed date claim has to do with issues of salary, work, and land. See, seeking to claim land. And that fixed date claim, that case is in the name Richard Curry. That means Richard Curry is a creature of the British Crown. To appear in their court and to file in their court, you have to be a creature of the British Crown, because if you use a full capital's name, that makes you a creature. You're no longer standing as a living man. Once you step in front of the judge notes in the court book, plaintiff in error. You see, that's why you need lawyers to represent you, because you did not present yourself properly. That's why Richard Curry needs a lawyer claiming to be sovereign. But anyway, the idea of genetics. You check a man's father, check a man's mother, check their behavior, their patterns, their attitudes, the home, how he grow. And certain things is going to produce. Again, John Crow can't produce a child that behaves and that becomes a hawk. The John Crow's child can only become a John Crow. The eagle's child cannot become a dove. It's going to become an eagle. So that is an issue that's facing us. That is also the idea of we want something that look like it's successful, but we don't want successful in and of itself. It's another issue. And we say that to say the issues that are plaguing Jamaica and the issues that are plaguing the Maroon community of a compound are specific to those issues. They're specific to issues and tendencies inherent in the genes of the people involved. Like me say, my father had integrity and would not take their $1 million to go to South Africa under apartheid. I come with serious, fearless adamance to defend what is right upon an integrity level. Because me, I'm a father's child. It also correlates to the issues facing Maroon Town. The pretentiousness of wanting something that we think, look, is what is plaguing their compound Maroon. Now, to give you the anthology of the corruption that is the administration of Richard Curry, we have to go back to 3 Maroon colonels ago. And his aunt, Miss Coral Barnett, or whatever she's doing, worked in the mayor's office. She's an initiate of a female chapter of the Masonic Order, just as is Miss Rowe, who was deputy colonel. They are Eastern Stars. That means their oath is not to black people. They're ruled by unseen masters. Now we say that, and this is him auntie and Miss Norma Rowe Edwards. And I was in our compound meeting, and I saw Mr. Richard Curry put up on the screen a phoenix. Now everybody knows that the phoenix is given to Masonic initiates as a symbol. The bird that supposedly lives 500 years and burn itself, and a new bird rises out of that flame. Rebirth. That's what's given to the Masonic initiates. We saw a picture that was circulating in the paper with Miss Dalrymple Filbert and Mr. Tantavares Simpson, both initiates of the unseen order, with Richard Curry, the Maroon chief, sitting down between them. Now that's a Masonic code. That is a code telling the other large brothers them, say, yo, go back and look at the picture of when Richard Curry went to when he went to the lower house of parliament, the Senate. Your Maroon leader Richard Curry is up visit the governor general yet, and I say you're backward, and you don't know what to do. Posing and pretentiousness you look like, but you're not, nor will you ever be. So that picture that they chose, they never put a picture with him standing. They put a picture with him sitting down between the two of them, signing a book. They could have taken a picture with him standing and put in the paper, but that picture was designed to send a particular message. Our boy, this man, him just a coming at the thing. And then after that, Mr. Richard Curry come and meet, and I put Phoenix. A Maroon symbol forgot the way I put Masonic symbol, Richard Curry. You think you can trick Dane and think Dane are going to stay silent and make you tricky people. You can't get mango from cherry tree. I am my father's son. You are your father's son. And every Maroon know what that means. The history is there. My father fearlessly stood up for black righteousness. I am fearlessly standing up still for black righteousness. Every Maroon know the history. Chip never fly far from black. So, while Richard Curry's aunt worked 3 colonels ago, give me the anthology of corruption. 3 colonels ago, Mrs. Coral Barnett, working in the mayor of New York's office, initiated in the order in a female chapter in order to get the job, and so they feel like them stepping up. We can name them, the ones who we see with them, who we know have taken an oath to serve something greater than Maroon Town, and something greater than the Maroons. You hear me say? We know them, the ones who have taken an oath that they will serve something greater than the Maroon. And from me a little boy, them lot of ask if it's right. And many of our close brethren are initiate, but them deal with us on the square as man. And them know and say, yeah, I too was raised in the highest craft between the foot of the Sphinx by the true lion's paw. So, while she was there, she learned, working in the mayor's office, she learned about, Coral Barnett learned about the money that was to come for the Global Environment Fund. This was from Martel Wright, was colonel, my ancestor. And she started to craft a thing. The first thing she crafted was the Council of Overseas Maroons. And then she had that Council of Overseas Maroons create a constitution and give to Maroons. And that document says that all overseas business for the Maroons was to be handled by the Council of Overseas Maroons. But she did that because she knew from her position that the Global Environment Fund was coming. So in order to position herself so that them can control that over the heads of Maroons in Jamaica, them push out that document. No, I already proved that document to be a fraud. I went through it. I showed you that the dates and the signatures are living frauds that were lifted from somewhere else. You know, sir, a couple weeks after I do that video there, I call out Coral Criminal Barnett. Sue me, Coral Barnett. Sue me. Come like Susie. After we did that, you know, say a couple days later, I walk in a Maroon Town and I walk go check Uncle Alston's son, my little cousin, Uncle Alston's son. Dwayne sick, every Maroon know that. A 2 times a day I make sure someone go check Dwayne. Dutifully. Turn him in bed, lift him off to a wheelchair. Big up to Alain.
Wow. Wow, that is Excellency Daniel.
And big up to Boise. As two people and the young lady that helped him out, let me see. Pay attention to Dwayne in a wheelchair with the multiple sclerosis. Yeah, me say Alien struggle and help. We'll lift him up, put him in a wheelchair. Respect here, girl. You get my medal every time. I was on my way to go and make my afternoon visit to my cousin in his wheelchair, you know. And I saw Richard Curry, Anu Zionel, and the artist Buju Banton sitting in a yard. Buju shot me, I go over to him and say, yo, Bajo, I need some cannabis oil. I turn and go back for the aisle. Buju put some US dollar in my hand. See? Now, me say, Anu Zionel is not a Maroon, nothing up himself and said to me, boy, boss, I see the video what you're doing, you know, and Curry said, boy, I see it, you know, but I know, so I'm a family still. That means him not ready to stand up on integrity, you know. That means after me call out criminal Coral Barnett and the Council of Overseas Maroons and the fact that the document was frauded and the fact that she gave the Maroons a document saying the Council of Overseas Maroon Incorporated. And it's after that she went and incorporated. So the document comes out saying the Council of Overseas Maroons Incorporated. Before she goes back to America and goes and register it as a 5013C, with she alone and her home address as the address. This is Richard Curry Antino, 3 colonels ago. She knew about, working in the mayor of New York's office, Richard Curry Auntie, Coral Barnett knew about the global.
Yes. The phone lines are open right now. 260-209-8730. That is His Excellency Daniel Z. Bozra, and he is taking on Richard Curry head on. Yes, he's taking on Richard Curry like never before. We're going to play more of that tape because that tape seems to be driving the momentum. The challenge is all over, you know, and there's so much things happening here we don't even want to get into it, but I wish Scottish Maroons would call me, because you know that we have some unfinished business. I spoke to Scottish Maroon a couple nights ago, and I explained to him that I wanted him on the show for a purpose, but I don't know if the offices are not available. It's not available. You know, I am not here to really run down anyone office as yet, because these offices, they have to operate independently. Let me big up the Emperor. I saw the Emperor this morning with his children, dropping them to school, and I think he was taking his fiancée to work too, but we don't know how truthful that is. We'll get back to him and see what is going on. I want from with him. I notice in time where the officer link up, some offices don't want to answer me. I wonder how I go on, like some of my office them just get independent and sovereign, them now answer them. Yeah, Grand Rising, Willie.
Grand Rising, Virgin, go on.
Like when you collect this trust money and the whole I just get rich and not answer on the phone again. How go on, Willie? Willie, what really I go on? Willie, more and know now.
I go on there, try to answer the phone, and the message them will come up and it a ring and you never see the answer button.
What is father? So you get so busy. You get so busy, Willie. How you look bored? Mind you cook up something, you know, Willie. How you cook up? What you find out what me not find out? Talk to me.
Well, no, man, you're the original organic tea China, so me just try to catch up to your level. Me not know it like you, so me have to spend time and study. You see me?
Lord Jesus. But Willie, you know, some more time when me I study, me still have to answer phone. Me still have to run grown I can and go see of XYZ. You have to learn to multitask, Willie. Come on, man. Come on, Willie. There's a lot of things to
I
be
want
done.
to tell you, the reason why you even get me, I'm sit down in my car right now, I wait for my son, so you never call a better time. I'm going to sit down under the basket in the sunshine and my little vehicle and wait for my son to come out of the clinic as him kind of not feel too well. So
you know, I'm glad you're with your son. I was just telling our listeners that I saw the Emperor with his offspring also, and his offspring was very happy to be with him. But there's a concern, Willie. I know you've been watching the news. We have a second child murdered in the classroom. I think it's in Guyana this time. It's happened in Jamaica. Willie, how you feel about them? When you're listening and look what go on, what you feel about them targeting a young pitney them now? Because if offspring can't go to school in safety, that means society really tear down then, Willie. What do you think about this young lady stabbing her next one in Kingston Technical, Jamaica, and causing her to die?
As I was saying the other day, the problem that we're having is that everything goes back to our home, our upbringing, and sometimes we blame the school or we blame the institutions, but it's really the family to be blamed. You see, if you have a situation where you don't have kids brought up in a steady home with mommy and daddy to balance things and teach them how to be tempered, how to control them temper and not getting into problems. A lot of them are just girls without fathers, or there's a single family, and so they don't have that balance, they don't have that guide. There's a problem, they don't know how daddy angle things and how daddy not is a non-violent, and he learns to reason out things, or he learns to walk away from problems. And so when there is that lack of the male figure, I can almost bet you that those two young ladies that were fighting, maybe there's no father. There's no father in the home to show that child how to resolve conflict. So the only way we know is to get a knife or get a pickaxe stick or a baseball bat or some gun or whatever. That's the only way we know to solve our problem. We don't know what it is to say problem solved when there's a problem, and there's always a way out, That's the problem. We don't know how to problem solve, and it goes back to the family unit. When that is broken down, my brother, everything break down, society break down, and things like that, which is what we're witnessing.
The story coming out is that the young lady was being bullied, and she thought that her only way of defense was to defend herself. What's your take on that?
Yeah, but you see, you go to school now and you say you defend yourself and you walk with a knife go school, you're not supposed to have that on the compound. So it's premeditated murder because you're planning the person who you're afraid of and bullying you. The question is, did that person threaten you with a knife or a gun or any physical instrument? Maybe not, right? So you and a person can iron out thing if a fist to fist or so. But when you now decide that you're going to premeditatedly walk with a knife and bring it on the school compound, you're in big trouble, because that is premeditated murder. Because you thought about how you can get this individual. And let me tell you something: when a person have a weapon, man, it makes them 10 times more brave than if they didn't have one and they don't avoid. It's just like if you have a license firearm or if you have a hammer, everything becomes a nail. You understand? So when you decide to travel with a knife to take it to school because you and somebody have a problem, it is not the way. It is not the way. It is very dangerous, and see right there, it leads to murder. It is sad.
I hear what you're saying, Willie, and just for my listeners, I want you to know that I had to leave one of the educational institution that I was attending, very close to the very location that that crime took place. I won't go into details, but how I end up leaving my educational institution was I there was a young man who lived close to school, and he had his uncle and his friends who were close to school too, and he would pick a fight with anyone because he knew that he could, if you beat him up physically, he would just jump the fence, go around him yard, call to him friend them or him uncle, and them lay wait you out at school gate and then make him beat you up. So he tried that thing with me, and I never liked that approach. I don't like get beat up. And I'm going to admit here, stop the rhythm. As a countryman come from St. Mary, I'm going to admit I did bring a half a lass. And I did let him get some slap out of it. I had to give him some good slap, but I know that I wouldn't be able to go back to school because this monster, and people knew he was a bully. The teachers were scared of him. They couldn't do anything. And I, as a boy who come from country, who live in Spanish Town, attending a school in Kingston, had to defend myself. It come down to that point, Willie, where I had to make up my mind that, listen me, I will not be bullied by this boy anymore. Eventually I had to leave school, but I'm bringing it to the bump, Willie, where you're a father and your son, there's a secret code of silence within these children where when they come and tell us things, what them call them, Willie? Snitch, chatterbox, coward. So your little son now, they at school, a fight this bully, and this bully have friends over there were join with him. Well, how would you how put yourself in that situation, Willie? What is going through your mind as a child? Can you think as a child?
Well, that's what I'm saying. When you as a father figure there, what you're supposed to do is tell your child the proper way of defense, you know. When you feel under threat, you make a report to the police and make a report to the necessary authorities. Let it be on record that this guy has been harassing you, bullying you, and that's what a lice firearm holder taught me. It makes a lot of sense. He says if you're the man in at something and you're a lice firearm holder, you don't just take on the man, you know, you make a report and you have a record that this guy is threatening you, this guy is this guy is that. So they have a report on the person. They might reach out to the person, say please stop it, cease and desist. So you have that record to back you up to say, well, Your Honor, I had made a report because it's a constant bullying and harassing. So therefore, I went to the police station, made my report, and on this particular day, Your Honor, this man attacked me again, and he would not stop, and I had to defend myself. Now, right now, say you stand a great chance of you have a good argument there.
No, but I'm talking from the child perspective. You go to the school. I have a testimony here where a teacher came on, and I'm going to play it later on, where she get in an altercation with a student. The student tell her which part her mother she figure laba juice. Tell her say when she see her out that she gonna do her some nasty thing. The teacher cannot defend against his child. She's been suspended, but then she come back to the institution. I'm going to play it. My thing is, you report it to the principal, you report it to the teacher, you report it to the, sometimes even the very police, Willie. And this get no attention. This child is keep on beating up other children at school. The parents have a more dirty background than the picnic because hog picnic always come out like hog, act like hog. I'm not defending this young lady who is incarcerated right now. But does it start from that child? Is that child the problem to our society? Or is it the child? Yes, continue.
Man, you hit the nail on the head, and you're just bringing up something that I've just gone through recently too with my son.
Thank you.
My son is I know my son is a very peaceful little child, and he just wants to play. That's it. He's not into the bullying, the fighting, the cascas. He just wants to play up and down. And then he came in contact with a little bully boy, no more than about 10, 11. And that little boy asked him to compete with him. He competed twice. He won the boy. And the boy get hostile towards him. And before you know, it turns out into a fight. And he hit my child with a stone that blister his finger and split it. Right, and he split his fingernails, right? Luckily, it is his hand and not his face or his eye, right? So I say, you know what? Let me go and talk to the mother and see if we can amicably resolve this situation, because I do get from the police that this child is a troubled child. When the police visit him, he cuss off the police, he call them all kind of name, and they can't do anything more than to just tolerate him, because already he's in big trouble. He has to have a social worker around him at all time. He's not allowed to go to school, he's not allowed to play a lot of kids. So this day was just like my son meet upon a dog off the leash that should be on the leash.
Wow.
And so now the problem is that I say, as a man of peace, trying to always be at peace with people, but say must live at peace with all men as much as possible.
Yes.
So I went and said, okay, let me have a talk with the lady. The mother, oh my God, just as you just said, the woman chased me away, she never want to hear nothing. And I fear I picked the bus up my finger, my child finger, right? All I went there to do is just say, you know what? We can settle out of court. We can. I can understand your child have troubles, and I will just overlook it, because when the policeman tell me that this child is a troubled child, I say, oh, that's why he did that, and I was willing to forgive him. But the mother, I just say, come like a hug. The woman chase me plus for that call police for me. I'm before you know it in these areas, when you are as they say, black, you're at a disadvantage in a white area, because I call the police and I say I want to make a report of the experience. And the police themselves are conniving, because what they did was to turn the thing around, call me black on the report, police report, split it up, mix it up, and make it a son. And even correct the errors, and come back and have the black, and then come back and have said, no, my son bust up pick the finger and make error, and I ask him to correct it. Correct me, I forgot to do my own report, even right now. I woke up yesterday morning, and my mind was on it. Should I just leave it, or should I pursue it? Because next thing you pursue it, you put a lien against them, or you sue them, or you make a claim against them, then target you and kill you off and say you did draw a gun from them, or you understand me? So, I don't know. The world that we live in, it's really, you have to just be so conscious of what you're doing, because as you're quitting now, they're ready to cut you down, and it's no joke. But I'm talking a lot, but
I know.
In my area is basically a white here. One little black guy come live, and him a play him little music. And some people call people police on him, and I lie on him, so the man have gone, they kick off the man door. The short of it is that them going and them gun him down, kill him, and rip out the evidence, and put the phone, and take away the camera, them destroy the evidence, because the man have no gun, no them no find at the place. So this is what we are up against as a people on a daily basis. So we have to tread. I know I'm straying from the point, but we have to tread softly, because the world in which we live is just a messed up world. That's all I can say, my brother.
As I said, you as a father, I feel that passion in your voice. I am a father too. And people, in case you're just joining us, we are talking about a situation where a 17-year-old student have been charged with murder now. And as far as this young lady goes, she was only defending her right to go to school. I think we have Brother Robin, Grand Rising. How you doing, sir? Grand Rising. Willie, I think we have, is it the Maron headquarters here on the line? I think it came on a while ago. Grand Rising. Brother Robin. I'm not hearing your phone properly. I don't know why I'm not hearing your phone properly.
Bless. I apologize. It's open now. Greetings and Grand Rising to all.
Grand Rising. Where you call it? Where are you from again? Where are you? Where are you located?
Located in Nassau, Bahamas.
Nassau, Bahamas. Yes. We spoke on the meeting Sunday. No, I think it was.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yes. The Grand Rising, man. We our engineer is just linking up some of the Maron headquarters because we have a situation with students being charged all over. One is charged in Jamaica for murder right now. Police source said after a long question and answering, the said student was charged on Monday for killing a 16-year-old, and that is inside Jamaica. We have in Guyana also a student been charged for murder. And I know this problem is not isolated to these two locations that we mentioned. Willie was just mentioning that his son is also facing some of these trials and tribulation at school. My thing is, this young lady said that she had to defend herself because every day this girl that is dead now usually pick on her. There's a system, as Willie pointed out and myself pointing out, that sometimes the parents don't want to solve these problems because they themselves just lego the children them for grow. So some of these children, they're going to parties, they're going and doing all kind of thing. In Bahamas, is anything like that occurring in Bahamas where students are facing these challenges to Robin?
Absolutely. If I have a second, I can tell you an experience that I experienced over 10 years ago, and I don't want to say that it's amplifying. It's kind of getting worse at that point, and you spoke to maybe one of those reasons that's amplifying it. Parents don't want to take on responsibility. A reality of that, a lot of parents can't take on responsibilities because either they don't know how or they're so swamped and just trying to survive themselves. Yeah. But you absolutely have that issue. We just had a young lady shot and killed about 2 days ago. She's only 18, and it's a young lady. Most of the murders happen with young men, but you're having it happen with young ladies now, so it's amplifying and growing a lot more, especially in the schools now. It's becoming more and more occurring.
Yes, in the school, it is a serious thing. I usually go to school and I said there are children who live close proximity to the school and know that they have their relatives and so forth. Some of them become rebellious because they're coming from rebellious homes, and some of the communities that the schools are situated in are not the best of communities. Some of these communities are overpopulated and have problems as far as security goes and so forth. But I want to ask a question. There's a concern that they should put soldier inside our educational institution. Do you gentlemen agree with that the police
I emphatically no. Okay. I want to get fight down on that, but I am emphatically against that because that standalone does nothing. It has to be a collective, holistic approach because you spoke about one of the main issues, root of it. And I'll quote one of my favorite artists, Bujuban, circumstances make me who I am. Yes. It is not the end goal. It does not cover everything. But how can you expect, a difference of approach, a difference of mindset, an open mindset when you're coming from such a closed, narrow circumstance? When everyone around you is only of a criminality background, and it forces you to kind of almost assimilate to that. It shouldn't be that so it's a collective approach that we have to go at it. Anything that I come at it with is always a ground up approach, a community approach, and how do we holistically cover certain aspects that's geared towards the youth becoming their best self.
So you don't think that having guns and military fatigue around our children while they're being educated about the corporation is not a good mixture. Willie, do you share that sentiment? Willie, do you share that said sentiment?
That the soldiers should be in the school.
That security apparatus, soldiers or police, should be on our educational campus.
I guess you could have a security guard.
No, they're calling for the Jamaica Defense Force to be stationed there.
No. That's making a mockery of the military is just for war. The military is not trained for those things. Military is for war. Not even police. I would recommend. I would recommend like maybe a school security guard, and that is as far as I would go.
The military has been turned out on our communities of late. The state of emergency is becoming a pattern. Belize is doing it. Trinidad is doing it. Jamaica is doing it. The military is having a war against its very own people. So I hear mothers who are echoing the sentiments that they want to see the JDF, the Jamaica Defense Force, in some of our educational institutions, and I was appalled. I was like,
let me tell you something. You see, when a person's mind is made up to do evil, no military can stop you. No security can stop you. Right? Exactly. If I make up my mind that I'm going to stab you up or kill you later, then no military can read into my heart and my mind what I'm going to do. So that's why I'm saying what our school and our children need is proper home training and proper and in the classroom they need to have problem resolution, because if this is a typical case, you use these case studies and you let the kids know how could things have resolved better than what they did, that they want somebody to end up dead, right? And somebody's gonna spend the rest of their life behind bars. Yes. How do you so you use that as a case study in the classroom then, and you demonstrate it and say how these schools should have resolved the matter. Those are what children need to be taught, how we resolve issues, because most of us, only way we know to resolve an issue is anger, and the Bible says grievous words stir up anger. Right? Anger leads to fight and war and them something there. But if people know how to resolve their issues, they don't have to reach to that point. But and especially in the poorer class of people, most time the poorer class of people is not like the upper class people who know how to teach their children how to conduct themselves in certain events and ignore and walk away. They are taught how to fight, and they're in an environment of fighting every day and gunshot and hostility. So the only thing that they know is hostility.
Yes.
Hold on there. I'm telling you.
Can I speak a little bit on that too?
You can speak.
So in reference to that, also at the same time with that retaliation, you have a lot of people that tend to be underneath that. I don't want to say poverty, but in those spaces that are challenged, you're looking for validation. You're looking for validation, right? And so being in conflict, it may sound crazy, irrationally, it validates the young people.
Yes.
And so it's again why I say it's a holistic approach. You need to be able to show them how to conflict resolute, but at the same time we need to validate our young people beyond you just being athlete or job and offering a job in your community. So it's a holistic approach. It starts absolutely from the home, but in the community it has to trickle over into the community also, to where we take these initiatives on. It's our responsibility, all of our responsibility.
Yes, I think it is our responsibility, right? Yes, but society is as a problem, and society includes all of us in this community that calls it home, and it says it takes a village to raise a child. This young lady right now is looking at her life being taken away from her because she is born in a community that has certain pattern. This young lady should not be in this situation. As I said, let me see if I can elaborate on the story for people who are listening. It says on Monday, Fiona Williams, the Minister of Education, visit the KTH after the traumatic incident. William promised to utilize a program that will assist students in de-escalating conflicts. The Ministry of Justice had reiterated justice program restored justice program that can help our students understand how to de-escalate conflict situation when they arise, how to interact with each other peacefully, how to resolve disagreement, how to speak to each other, and how to work together rather than resulting in fights and arguments. No, she's putting all of these things together. Now, when I usually go to school, there usually be head boys and head girls, and we usually have to have some respect for them, because if we disrespect the head girls, you'll go to the principal, the teacher's office, and if the teacher can't solve it, you go to the principal office, then you go to the principal office. You can't solve it, get suspended. What is happening right now is people are being suspended, going to the principal office, going to the prefects and all of these things, but these young people, they have a different approach towards respect. Respect is not in our community, and it is one of the main problem we have right now when children are interacting with us as people. We have children that has been murdered right now. They're being murdered, and how they get murdered in school, it is atrocious. I think we've just joined by Wagwan, King Shango. Hold on, Willie. I think I have Bahamas King Shango. Christine! My God. Queen among us. Christine, are you busy? Grand Rising.
Hello, greetings, Grand Rising. Yeah, I just popped in literally for a minute or so because I'm at my laptop as we speak.
Yes.
You know what I am doing, and I have to get this thing out. It seems as if it is more needed now than ever.
I don't call you unless it's important. I have Willie from Canada, and I have the Bahamas, Robin on the line. But our children are being, you see what happened in Kingston Technical just the other day. I have a niece that go to that school, that in the said classroom with this child that was stabbed.
Oh dear God.
Christine, I'm trying to get Willie and everybody point of view, but you have a few moments. What's your take on this escalating situation that's been there for a while? She said that she was bullied and she had no other choice but to defend herself. I was bullied at school. What's your feeling on this, Christine?
Oh man. Whoa,
Hold on. Robin, mute your phone, Robin. Please mute your phone because it have a lot of echo. Just mute it until we call on you. Yes, carry on, Christine.
So when I observe things like this, I always come from two different sides.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
So the side that we are talking about right now in this room, I am going to assume is the side of uproar. This is the side of, my God, what is happening.
Yes.
And of course, you must see it like that. But the other side for me, and I know people are not going to like it,
mm-hmm.
and I know people are not going to even understand.
Mm-hmm.
But these things are going to happen more now than ever.
Jeez.
You understand?
Wow.
This was hitting me from about 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I said, my God, something is getting ready to happen on this planet where the whole of we have to go look one time. And I could not have seen anything outside of a meteor to command such an attention. Of course, we know what it is now.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to be hit. We are going to be boxed down, pile driven, shook upside down. We are in the time of what I know now to be the time of taking of the innocent lives, and those are babies, okay? When you see grandparents, okay, taking out their grandchildren, their own legacy, it tells you that the activation has started. You understand? So my heart bleeds. I feel more than most. Most of the time in a bar, because it's like I feel every cut. I feel every hit, I feel every burn, I feel every bullet. You understand? That's the level that I am on. But we are going to have to endure this just a little while longer That's why I said people not going to like what me have to say. The world has to start again. Okay? So from this standpoint, yes, you know, what are we going to do? But we did this. We did this. All over the planet, we did this. And now because of our action under the forces stepping in and saying, okay, make me show now what our actions do. Seriously. I am seeing crimes happening in Jamaica that I only experience here in the States.
Wow.
And mass shootings. When did we ever do that on that kind of level? You know? And but I cry and I feel it. But may I tell you now, a little while longer, you're going to have to ride this one out. That's why I said nobody's not going to like what I have to say. Certain things have to start again. You understand? It's going to be on two sides. Okay, it's going to be in the side of the secular world, where we're going to have to do some things and don't make that mistake again, and start with the young people. And one more time, instill pride, instill history, instill, you know, information correctly. You know, let them know who they are and why they should be proud of who they are. And then we have to go up on the spiritual side too and appease the ancestors who don't like what is going on and do not like where we are and what we have become amongst ourselves, to ourselves. You understand? Yeah. Every little group on the planet gonna have to go through that. So us, the little old people, them are sit down and watch and say, okay, we know and we grieve. You hear me? We grieve. Okay, if you physically see me now, you think some of them they drag me in the gutter.
Yes.
Because I feel everything that is going on. Yes. But the only word that of encouragement I have to have is that it has started. Okay, it has started. Whether it's a year from now, 100 years from now, 1,000 years from now, the beginning of the next time has started. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I have to go. I have to go.
Yeah, thanks,
I have to go and get my book. So blessings to everybody. But listen, I am coming.
Yes,
I am coming.
And
all right.
And more power, more strength to you.
Thank you so much, Christine. Thank you so much.
All right,
I see a lot I see a lot of daddy work I get resurrected. That's they put out a nice one.
Have you seen that, my brother? Have you seen that? Did I tell you? Listen. I say everybody, them go tired, fishy with fear.
Listen, me have goosebumps.
That's what's gonna happen.
I'm being goosebumps. Pull me up right now.
I told you, we are coming and we are picking up on the way. In unity, there is strength, my brother. All right, blessings to everyone. I have to go. All right then.
Yes.
All right, bye-bye.
Yeah,
listen,
yes.
I'm going to have to get that who it is, be and connect with her. She said it on point. That is what it have to be. This is what our organization is about, to be honest. And Kofa Flamingo, we have to restart, and then we're looking at the past to find out where we went wrong, implement some things that we did right, and then we go forward. She's on point with it.
You know who was calling me a while ago? It was King Shango from over the Bahamas, and Chris is known as Chris.
Yeah.
Yes. You just said something about our indigenous people, the flamingos. Elaborate a bit more that. Willie, you know anything about the flamingos, Willie?
Yeah, man, I know one bird is one bird.
No, sir. This deeper than a bird. This deeper than a bird. Hey, my brother, Robin, would you elaborate a bit more as to the groundation work that is taking place in Bahamas? Because Bahamas has become a portal straight to Ghana right now. Our brothers and sisters are shipping through Bahamas like hot bread, going over to Ghana. Even the Corporation of Bahamas have recognized that them can't stop the progress here. Our people are going to link no matter what come. Talk to me about the work on the ground that you're doing, Robin, and how important it is.
Yeah, man. So the flamingo part in our organization name, it is related to the bird, just because, you know, we have a population of them here in the Bahamas. How they operate, they operate as a unit. When one fly away for fair, they all move together, and so that's what we needed to understand, needed to put out there. As we look to the past, as Sankofa, it stands for go back and fetch it, right? So we go back to the past. Our past takes us back to the motherland, back to Africa.
Yes.
Part of our research is connected to Junkanoo, one of the Caribbean's largest, most popular festival, and there's a representation of that in just about all the Caribbean islands, right? And so what we're finding out through the research and our historical interpretations, the Junkanoo parade was initiated by a warrior, by a chief out of Ghana, of the Hunter tribe. And he was a fighter. He fought down imperialism, he fought down colonialization, from the Portuguese and from the British, until at one point he was conquered. But that representation of that fight for freedom is something that we practice within our John Canoe, within our festival. So we want to bring that part of it to the now and here, right? So we've reached back to Ghana. They've reached out and accepted us. They brought us as a part, initiated us as a part of the Ahanta tribe. But a lot of what it is, again, to reiterate, is to understand where we went wrong. It's to understand the past, to pull the best that we can, learning from our greatest teachers, from our worst parts of us, because it's not all great. It wasn't all the best in our history. So we need to understand those things. We need to understand how we were infiltrated, how we were marginalized, how we were capitalized on. Figure out how do we create a system that now includes us, incorporates us, has us at the forefront. So looking at it from a tourism perspective, first and foremost, just because that's what we knew here in the Bahamas. That's what they help us there in Ghana to expand what's going on there. So it's a part of the repatriation tied into tourism. And then it's understanding from the youth perspective, what do we do to bring that holistic approach in? So it's a number of areas that we're crossing. But it's starting the historical part of it, bringing back that relevance, the history to the now.
Willie, this is a great thing that's happening in Bahamas right now. Queen Mother, Grand Rising, how you doing? My God.
How are you?
Oh, I tell you, you're so busy. This is so busy. Bahamas have Robin. Queen Mother, you're acquainted with Robin. Robin, are you acquainted with Queen Mother Angelica? Angelique?
Yeah, man. You're all the same here.
Angelique, are you in Bahamas or are you in Ghana right now?
I'm still in the Bahamas. This time next week I'll be almost there.
Oh, you can't pop me into the suitcase, Angelique. I'm going in a suitcase, no, man. Please.
Everybody want me to slide them in that suitcase.
Robin, were you a part of the entourage with Angelique to Ghana at any time? Were you part of it?
Yeah, the last trip that they went with, they took the wife of the prime minister. I wasn't on that one. The previous one I was on, though. A few of the other trips prior made it to Ghana.
Yes.
I might be on that trip with them next week, or I will be seeing you in Jamaica next week.
No, I'm actually in India now. Willie, in any plan to go to Ghana, Willie? Because Willie is over there in Canada, and we're linking up globally to make our presence be felt. Willie, would you love to go to Ghana with our brothers and sisters?
I would love to, but I would have to get sponsorship, boy. I don't have them kind of money to do right now.
You worry about the lease, Willie. I asked a question if
well, if I get sponsorship, I would just gladly go. Why not?
All we're asking of you, Willie, we just want allegiance and loyalty. If you're loyal to the Maroons, we will look about you.
Hey, listen, talking about that part of it, right?
Yes.
A big part of what it is too is creating the economic reliance and economic strength amongst us. Trade allows for that, and so this is a part of opening the doors and the trade links between Ghana, the motherland, the Caribbean, Canada, wherever we are, so we could build up this economic strength.
Yes.
So we need to do things. We have the resources to do it.
Yes. Queen Mother Angelique, when you go over there next week, what are some of the intentions that you plan? Because you're not visiting anymore. You're in your father's house or your mother's house now. So
my whole body tingle when you say that just now. Whole body tingle.
Yes. Because now that you know your brothers and sisters on the continent in some way, shape, or form, what is the way forward now that you're building this relationship? Talk to us.
Well, one of the first things that I'm doing when I go back is I'm gonna be visiting some of the other sites, specifically in the Ahanta region, because I'm assisting that region with the development of a cultural heritage product that can be marketed for tourism to come to the region, for persons to be able to be fully submerged in the culture of their ancestors in its natural format, to be able to see anything, walk the same streets, interact with who their cousins are, literally, right? So that's one of the things that we're doing. And we're going to be experiencing the Kundum Festival in Princess Town. You know, Junkanoo means everything to me. And to be able to experience Kundum, which is the springboard of where Junkanoo came from and the town that where Jankwao came from, to me, that is going to be like life-changing for me. Somebody deeply immersed in Junkanoo as I am. And then I'm also going to be accompanying the ambassador designate. He's going to be opening a trade mission office so that we could begin the partnership between business persons in the Bahamas and throughout the diaspora to do exchanges with persons in Ghana so that we could begin to develop that partnership and that relationship where we're an island nation and we import quite a number of things. Let's import it from home.
Yes.
As opposed to importing it from other countries, other places around the world. Let's strengthen our brothers and sisters back home and strengthen us in the same time. So let's have this symbiotic win-win relationship between our cousins back there and here. Yes. And strengthen the diaspora at the same time.
Before you came on board, we were touching a very crucial point. You are a nurturer. You're the woman that complements the man. There's a spark in violence in our. It has always been there, but our educational institution, we are suffering a loss at this moment of a life of a young lady, 16-year-old young lady who was stabbed to death. And over the years, the educational institutions have deteriorated. And I just spoke to Robin a while ago. He said that this is a concern over there also. This young lady was murdered because they said she was a bully. She was picking on the young lady, and the young lady couldn't take it. Give me your take on the violence in the school on the school compound. Can you talk about that, Queen Mother? What's your concern?
I could do it from where I'm standing and where I'm sitting. What I'm seeing is it's a cycle. The same persons that are being victims now and the persons who are committing these crimes are growing up in families. They're like career criminals, for lack of a better word, right? These persons are not taking advantage of the social programs that are being offered because there are tons of programs being offered. You know, they sometimes get this positive feedback at school, but then they go back into the same environment where career criminality is praised. So I don't know what we're going to do, but we have to, as individuals, continue to speak positively, to continue to lead by examples and highlight the successes of those that come out of the system or out of the areas, because we know people tend to say, oh, the ghetto, the ghetto, the ghetto. And this is where all the crime is. This is where the criminals come from. But my neighbor's string tied in the ghetto. I grew up in the ghetto, but I'm not doing that kind of thing. Like, we have to continue to lead by example. That is the only way that we're going to see the shift.
But you just said a while ago about the ghetto, and as Willie has pointed out, that the single parent award that has been given out over the years have actually destroyed the family. Because when a father should be in the house with the mother, balancing the family status, the father is not there. And sometimes, as we see quite blatantly, society doesn't cater to entertain a family atmosphere. They're more trying to tell you just survive by any means necessary. Some of these children are coming out of broken homes and they have seen their parents struggling to survive by any means necessary, and they bring the said practice to the classroom. Teachers can't talk to them.
And that's why I say we have to identify persons in the communities who would have come out of the same environment, who are successful. Let me give you an example of this. I'm the leader of the Junkanoo Commandos, Yes. That's an organization that's made up of Junkanoo artists from different Junkanoo groups. And we travel around the world, taking Junkanoo around the world.
Yes.
And we show people a positive light. We lead by example in our organization. Our mission is to positively change the world through the creative arts of Junkanoo while empowering others. So we provide opportunities for persons in these same communities to be able to travel globally at no cost to themselves, to see another side of the world, to see positive things in action. So it's incumbent upon us as individuals who see the light to be able to expose that light to persons who we know aren't seeing the light. So I can't say, I don't support that because you're from a single family home that things are going to deteriorate or go downhill or whatever like that. I don't subscribe to that school of thought.
But Queen Mother, out of the 10 families that the 10 single mothers or single dad out there, in a realistic form, the child lose out because when a mother has to play both roles, some of the recreational time spending with your child is cut short. Likewise for a father. And the child suffers. It's not about, when I hear mothers going around about, I was a single mom and I did it. You didn't do nothing. I was a single dad and I did it. You didn't do nothing because the child who should have earned that 50% with the other side did not get it, no matter how you try to make it up. And even with what is happening, some of the boys, them grown by their mothers, turn out to be not we expect them to be, because they didn't get that masculine approach. Silent your phone for a minute, Brother Robin, until in time you're ready. But that's what I'm saying, that Queen Mother, we are losing out. Even if some of the single parents are doing good, the children are still suffering. So how do we try to cap that?
That's what I say, and we have to lean on each other. See, I believe in that village.
A village grow a child. Yes.
I'm a part of a serious family that believes in the extended family.
Yes.
Before my grandmother passed away in 22, her grandchildren would be by our house at least 3 times a week.
Yes.
Our parents would talk about us being by our grandmother more than us being by them. You know, me and my cousins grow up like brothers and sisters. So that extended family, you need to be able to lean on to that support, whether it's a single family or, you know, a two-parent home. So I would continue to say we need to be able to lead by example. We don't need children who are from a single parent home to feel like they're lacking or they're not getting as much of because there's not a 2-parent home, because that 2-parent home has nothing to do with that child. And we don't need them to think that, okay, because both parents are not here, I'm not going to develop as well.
No, I am not saying that, Queen Mother. And you just said something a while ago that I have to stop, because it does matter when a father is not in the house. It does matter.
Can I get a chance? Can I speak to that, please?
Yeah. What
this is a subject matter that I heavily like to focus on. This is why I'm community based, and even though I do a lot of different things, I focus in this part.
Yes.
But we have to understand we have a problem here, but we have to understand what the problem is. I think a lot of people gloss over. This is a concerted effort to have single parent homes. I'm just meaning a single mother.
Yes, there's a plan.
It's a concerted effort.
Yes.
And we need to understand why. If you go back 100 years ago when we moved into the industrial era, you needed people on jobs in order to make these machinery, to make these devices, to make these things that could be sold, and so businesses could thrive. These are economic reasons as to why it's a concerted effort to target homes and communities. So we have to understand how much of a fight we are up against in order to put forward these fixes, right? So this is why we have. I have 100% with Angelique, in terms of it has to be community outside of just the home. We need to go back to, and this is why we talk about it. We need to go back to some of our principles, some of our community structures and makeups that we had. That was one thing that I found amazing, that I loved when we were in Ghana, the familial structure. We saw one altercation, and we talk about conflict resolution, right? We saw one conflict happen in front of us, right? And you know how they resolved it? As opposed to the police being called, it was two adults over the age of 30. Their parents were called in. The mother and father were called in, the both of them, and they resolved that immediately in that instance right there. Of course, it had to be escalated, but it was escalated to the paramount chief of the area. But I'm saying there are familial structures that we had forced to be broken down amongst us, and especially of us African descent, because we are needed. Our physical bodies were needed for employment in these places. It's easier for a child to be taken out of the home and brought to a job when they don't have a stable home. The communities are broken down, so your people can be plucked out and go into these jobs that ain't really bringing nothing of substance other than a couple of dollars to go and pay bills and so forth. It's more needed. That's why it's a holistic approach.
Yes, a couple of dollars. Willie, your line is open. I don't know if you want to interject anything, Willie.
Well, what comes to mind is that earlier you were talking about what can the schools do and all of that as these incidents unfold. And I am saying that these things are not new. These things, there are some years ago when there was a lot of violence in the schools, and they introduced something called PALS, and it's a peace and love in school, something like that. Right, and those programs were tried and implemented. I don't know if they still have them today. But what I would say is, when this young lady committed that act of murder, it is not just she who is responsible, but it is also those around us who around her who were instigating the violence. Because what happens in those situations, it's a charged environment where somebody is boosting up the other person. And if the other person walks away, then they're seen as, oh, you're soft, you should make sure this, and all of that. So there are those now need to be spoken to that you were complicit in this murder because you were part of that crowd that were saying, crucify her, fight her, do her this. You understand? The ego and the boost of this young lady ego. And sometimes it's just a matter of showing that, hey, you can't diss me in front of my friend them. So you have to prove a point. And that is how we have in Jamaica, we have a very...
we have a very... Continue.
We tend to have a very egotistic environment where if you're around your friend and a man this you want to show your friends that you're bad and you can do with the other man. And we need to, I don't know what is the solution, but because a lot of things have been tried in the past.
Yeah, but let me interject something because I want to say this. I saw a posters the other day, and the slogan was, every year Ford, Mitsubishi, and these car dealers put out a brand new car, right? Now, if the children are our future, and the leaders they don't implement certain things in school up to now, and they've been taking out things that can enhance our young people to think more progressive. The school is where we take our most precious commodity and put them there every day. But yet still, the improvement of the facility is not an agenda for us as a people. In a nutshell, I'm saying that children are going to school nowadays because it is the thing to do. You can't just go to school because it is the thing to do. There you go to school to better yourself. But I don't think these young people are...
I disagree. I disagree that is the school structure. It's not to better yourself. But again, let's be real about this. We're being trained to be employees. That's what most school systems operate.
Yes.
That's not really bettering the children. That's not bettering them. That's bettering the business owners.
Hold on. Willie, what you were saying before I talk back to Robin?
No, I was just going to say I don't think it's a matter of facilities. I think you see, everything starts with our mind. There need to be mind training. There need to be everything starts with our brain. Yeah.
No, but
reaching the children's mind, a mindset. There's a mindset in our country that the only way to solve a problem is through violence, and when we need to unlearn that, and it goes back into our culture.
But even the very
music,
even the very cartoon that our children are watching, it is violent. I don't think it's a violence. Music
and in so many there's so many moving parts to solving the problem, and it's talking about family, it's the schools, it's the churches, it's those are the community, those are where you have to hit the nail on the head. But the question is, do we really because most of the time things happen, we have become so climatized to it that it doesn't even shock the senses again. We just get so used to, somebody dead, we talk about for a couple of days. Next, what's next? And big on the agenda is another one or another, from one tragedy to the other, and it keeps on ongoing, and then we talk about it and we get nowhere. That is what is the problem. But we have to get to the root. What is the cause of this thing? And it goes back, as I said earlier, it goes back right. You have to lay the thing where it is. It's right at the doorstep of the home. The family unit. Teaching the young men, when you have a son, a daughter, you need to be there. Don't just splash your thing all over the place and leave the lady them pregnant and gone. Children need a stable home. They need a stable home, and they need mother and father to balance them. One of the disciplinarian, one of the ones that say, hush, daddy beat up on your hush, baby. But daddy just love you, that's why that's why I'm disciplined. That is what I'm talking about. It goes back to the home.
Queen Mother, can you relate to what Willie just said a while ago?
I could relate, and I agree with what he's saying. And in the event that this ideal model doesn't exist, this is where the village has to step in.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is, we've seen the deterioration of the two-parent family. So this is where we have to step in and we have to step up. And that's why I'm saying we need not put that narrative out there to say that this is a must, because we've seen the shift that it's not happening. And this is where uncles and big cousins step in and fill the shoes of the absent father or aunts and big cousins come in and fill in the shoes of the missing mother. We've lost a lot of our people to violence. And it's not just that they're absent because they don't want to be there, but that is some of the case. But that's why I'm saying we don't need to push that narrative that you need two-parent home.
No, but as you said that a while ago, I was pointing out, before I asked Robin a question, I was pointing out to Willie that within some of the parenting skills that we apply, I remember when I was growing up in the country, and if I was misbehaving on the road, the neighbor had the right to chastise me and go and tell my grandma, and my grandma would compliment them for them caring about me enough. Not like, for instance, I would want to go to the fields and pick, follow other friends, go raid mango tree, we're not our property. And the person would see me and them say, yo, I'm going to tell Miss Rose, Ray. And then he go up and tell Miss Rose, and Miss Rose wouldn't cuss him off and tell him, say, go left me picnic, a bad mind, you bad mind. My grandma would compliment that person for say, thank you, so you pay attention to him. That sort of family, village, community attributes. People are afraid to correct other people's children nowadays because then we get chastised. People will cuss them off. I like me I tell people.
No, it's true.
Yes, you get chastised if you try to play that. But I want to ask, Robin, what is retroactive justice? They say they have implemented some retroactive justice program as to de-escalating conflict situation when they arrive, as far as how to resolve disagreement, how to interact with each other peacefully. This is what the Minister of Education is saying to our children. But when they come off the school compound and come back into reality where man a shot people right on street, a chop up people right on street, and all of these things, how does a little one fathom all of that, what they got on the school compound to match on the outside of the street in the reality? How do they do that?
Well, that's a heavy question. I want to start by reiterating what the lady said. There has to be an unraveling and almost a literal restructuring of our systems, our community, country systems. But some of the programs we're looking to implement, one I'm formulating right now is the targeting young males. So I'm calling it honorable, right? Kind of a play on words. We have our MPs, we call them honorable, right? But they're supposed to represent a lot of us. Some of them we could say don't really represent us the best. But then me, I can say I'm a street person. You say earlier that there's a respect isn't there, right? But I know one set of people that get respect no matter where they go, and that's the Rasta man. Rasta culture, they get respect no matter where they are. Yeah. And then you hear them address each other as honorable.
Yes,
so I want to play a bit of that. And I grew up in Boys Brigade. I grew up in these youth programs. So I'm pulling some of these principles, some of these learning lessons. I'm putting it in this program. So you want to expand the school from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock. You want to occupy their time. We need to occupy these youth's time, keep them doing activities, right? So it's building out a program at least for 2 hours out of the day. You can continue to be with them, and then there's going to be a social aspect of it afterward that connects each of the youths within their communities. And then there's an economic part of it. We need to be starting to generate monies for them. Part of that too is tied to a farming program. It's difficult to be able to talk to anyone if they belly hungry. But then we don't want these people having to go and putting their labor out to places that does nothing beneficial to them just to get monies to feed themselves. So it's a holistic approach. We're going into these communities. We need to feed them. We need to occupy their time. We need to be able to train them in ways to conflict resolution. So this is the program we're looking to implement. We're going to community-wise to be able to now put this in place.
But I want
a number of different organizations.
Yeah, but I want to say this too, because now that our people, the Queen Mother just mentioned something a while ago, and all of us agree that we have to use the village the village formula to secure our future, where it takes a village to grow a child. But we are also recognizing that the 6 feet apart has caused, given the corporation more power, ammunition for us to gather. Because even the young man them gathering on the corner, one time we had something called, they called them area dan, but they weren't area dan, they were elders. There was people in the community, just like what you say in Ghana. When we have a dispute, we don't have to call the police or call the JDF. We can solve these problems by ourselves. But the corporation have ensured that our elders who are respected in the community is taken out and justified as criminal. We don't have no community centers that is there for recreational purposes. And if there is community center that is there for recreational purposes, the corporation has set up payment plan where we can't even play soccer as a team anymore. You have to pay if you go play football. You have to pay if you play cricket. How do we break through some of those protocols, Queen Mother and Willie and Brother Robin? How do we break through some of those protocols?
We have to just collectively stand. We have to collectively stand. It's a struggle, and it's going to take a long time to change because all of this didn't happen overnight. And collectively, we have to be committed to the change.
Really?
And like I say, we have to continue to lead by example. I want you to know, Junkanoo and Junkanoo artists are looked down a lot or over the years as the dregs of society, right? And still to this day, people still look at us as Junkanoo as the ruffians from the community. And not one day will I go into an arena, a setting, anywhere, and not loud and proudly say that I am Junkanoo. So we have to lead by example. We have to believe in what it is that we say it. We have to believe in the change that we want to see happen. And we have to continue to do it and not shy away from doing what needs to be done.
Stand up in your full circle.
That's it.
Yeah, Willie, your take on the whole synopsis as far as us coming together and solving this problem as a village and a community when we're under so much pressure. What the advice you would give to our people who are listening right now, who have just accepted that we need to go back to that formula if we're gonna get some solutions?
Well, first of all, we have to get away from the defeatist mentality. We are not defeated. We are victorious. We will not accept any inferiority complex that anyone throw upon us. That's the first thing. As I said, we have to condition our mind in the right place. As long as we condition our mind in the right place, then there's no defeat, because it doesn't matter your circumstances. It doesn't matter. I am a living testimony to anyone who born and raised in a ghetto.
Yes.
To know that I born and raised in a ghetto among the most notorious in the 1980s. Starkey, you name them, George Pang, Gunman, all of them, badness, the whole of them. We grew up among them. I've witnessed death beside me, man, I kill man beside me. And I did not go the way of the bad influence, but instead, I don't know if it's a different heart that God made me with, but I choose not to get myself involved in the gun, if no guns were available. To me, just like my friends who get the gun and them go do what they want to. We have to teach our people that your circumstances does not have to shape you. You don't have to. Somebody's phone is making it so a whole heap of noise.
Mute your phone, Queen Mother, please. Yes, continue with it.
You're right. I was saying that our people has to learn that your environment, even though it impacts you, but it does not have to shape who you are.
Yes.
And that's why we have to change our mindset to say, there's always where does the lily grow? In the dirtiest of water, right? So our people need to know that no matter what it is, you still, if you have a mindset that says, I will not do this, I will not do that, I will not be defeated, I will not allow myself to be inferior to anyone, and I will achieve whatever I put my mind to. We have to get that mindset in our people, and that nobody is going to tempt me to bring down myself and hurt another human being, because when I hurt another human being, I'm only hurting myself. That young lady that has just hurt somebody, take away her life, she has just hurt herself. And that person is now dead, yes, but that person is not feeling any pain again. But she's going to be feeling all the pain for the rest of her life. So we have to understand consequences. We have to understand, think before you act. Think, put your brain in gear before you it's just like it's going to start a car. You're going to drive a car. You have to switch on the car and put the car in gear before you move. Put our brain in gear before we take action, because you can take some action that can devastate your life. And we have to think consequences. Every action have consequences.
Yes.
And that's my word to young people. Think about consequences. Learn to walk away. You can't always feel to say you have to prove a point to fight and get physical. Learn to walk away. Recently, I had to do that. A policeman dared me to come to turn around and film him. And I know what he had in plan in mind, to say, as long as I turn around and face him and start pointing my... down and say I was coming towards him. So must learn to walk away. I don't know how much I can emphasize it. Learn to walk away. Think before you act. Think on your feet. If you don't do that, most of the guys who are in prison today, they will tell you that there's the wish. They are just think and think about it and walk it out. Walk out the fight. Walk out the thing. And just go down.
Go chill out on all of meds. Canada is the interception is
the road the whole of.
Yes. Continue. Willie, I seems to be missing out. Gentle people, Queen Mother, I want to thank you for your minute. Robin, I want to thank you for your minute also. And Willie, your time is breaking up. I want to have a Bahamas link before the end of the week, before you go to Ghana, Queen Mother, where Chris, yourself, and Robin, and a few more of our guests can stretch out this great thing that we've discovered, John Kuno, in its fullness. I love what you're doing. I love the fact that you are resurrecting our story. It feels so good, and I just want to compliment both you and Robin and the rest of the Bahamian, the rest of my brothers and sisters over there in the Corporation of Bahamas. That is actually rising our legacy. I can't tell you how proud I am of you, of all of you. Very much proud of y'all.
Yeah, man. Respect, my brother. You don't know. And love still.
One at a time. Yes. You were saying, Robin, and then Queen Mother can finish it off for us. You were saying?
Yeah, no, I just was saying, man, give thanks, of course. You know, it's a collective fight. We all in this. Yeah. I always want to add one thought in terms of what to do. I am a radical, so let me put it out there. My approach is extremely radical. Yes, to everything that was said, it has to be done, but we need some radical approaches. Yes. These corporations, all these corporations, they need to be starved out. Everyone can't necessarily do that, but we need some set of people at the front line that taking that radical approach that starves out the corporation, while we have others are helping those in the communities who are getting starved out themselves. But give thanks, man, brother. We can make it. We can get there. The rise is happening.
Thank you so much. Queen Mother, as usual, you're very diplomatic as always. And I thank you for your time. And as I said, I want to touch base more with you before you return home, because this is a journey, and I'm happy that you've chosen to share that journey with our people. I love that so much.
It will be my pleasure to come back on with you. The world needs to know that Junkanoo is the greatest show on earth, and the world needs to know that this came from a great hunter warrior. Okay? Our story will be told.
Our story will be told. I am so happy that you are doing it, and thank you so much again. We will link again. We shall have you.
Blessings.
Yes, blessings.
Yeah, my respect, brother.
That's our brothers and sisters over there in Bahamas. We've been touching a very serious topic this morning, and I must say that I am happy that we are, chatting about this. It's about this young lady who have lost her life. She has lost her life, and it's in the educational system that she has suffered that tragedy. She went to school. The argument is that she was being bullied, and she had to make a stand. I'm urging my young people that, you're going through your situation, and I want to talk to parents too. But first, I want to talk to the young people. You're going through your situation, and you may figure more or less that you can solve it by yourself. Don't make nobody tell you how much. Listen me, you're a coward to tell your father or your mother what is happening. And sometimes we as parents, we want to defend our children, but at the said time, there are mechanisms that is in place that will not allow us to defend our children, because you go to school, you report it, and it fall upon deaf ears. It fall on deaf ears. And some of our children right now, they are facing an uphill battle. They cannot be fighting this war for themselves. Society has really gone into a dogmatic state, and we have to find a way. This is how I'm going to leave you today. I love you, my brothers. I love you, my sisters. Most importantly, the Almighty God that created heaven and earth love you even more. I'm going to ask Leonard Bartlett to come from the grave to close the show today again. Until we meet again, Jah guide. Yeah, Willie God, I'm so sorry that you got cut off a while ago. I was just wrapping up, but you didn't.
Yeah, I was traveling in some bush place as usual, so that's why it's possible that will happen. That's fine.
Yeah, but your message to our young people and the mothers was very, very encouraging, and I hope that we can gather some more momentum when it comes on to helping our people, helping them and letting them see the way. But thank you for your contribution. I don't know if you want to finish. You want to finish what you were saying, or you lose your trail of thoughts.
Yeah, I was just saying to in a nutshell to young people,
yes,
that you're gonna be tempted with all kind of evil in your environment.
Mm-hmm.
But take it from an experienced person who was out there and been there, done that. I've lived to see 57 years of age, while most of my peers, they died in their teens and their 20s, taking up the guns, making the wrong decisions, doing bad things, and some of them get life in prison. You name it, some end up dead at young age by their own peers or by the police. And I have learned, thank God, to walk away. And that is why I'm still alive today. And I still do walk away today. Even though I'm a big man, there's so many times you come across situations that can allow you to say, yeah, let me show this guy who I am and prove a point.
Yes.
But we don't always have to do that. We don't. So I am not saying you must not be, you must not defend yourself, but let it be your last resort to take up a weapon and go. And if you can walk away, the Kenny G some years ago, he sang a song and said, know when to walk away, know when to run.
No, I have the song line up. I have Leonard Bartlett said everyone considered him the coward of the county.
Yes.
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 Everyone considered him the coward of the county.
Keeps on bone.
Yeah.
Coward man keeps on bone. That's why I'm alive today. Because you know what? And it's not that I'm a coward. I was always to be feared, because there are guys in my ear, they were gunmen, and they feared me because they know I fear nothing. I defend myself when I have to. But I walk away and even run when I have to.
Yes,
so it all depends.
Yes.
Know when to fight and know when to run.
Well,
yeah, man. It's a good talk, and we just hope that at least one person is listening.
Yes.
And it can change a life. Grievous words stir up anger.
Yes, sir.
Yeah?
Yes, sir.
So we must learn to choose our words carefully and try. The Bible says, be at peace with all men as much as is possible. It's not always possible, but as much.
As much
as possible, be at peace. Be at peace. Peace, we say. Peace. No war, no fight, because all that is going to do is lead you down the rabbit hole. And the Bible says the prison is never filled. Yeah, the prison always have a space for another one of us. So we don't need to give away our life and our freedom.
Yes.
So I hope that somebody will hear what I have to say, and this will change their life and they'll put it into practice. Peace and love.
Thank you so much, Willie. Thank you so much. That is Willie over there in Canada. And this is where I'm going to jump fence. I want to thank all our listeners who came through, all our brothers and sisters who are going to be watching it. We were talking about a very vital situation that is unfolding. Another young person has succumbed to the violence in our society, and 17-year-old Kingston Technical student has been charged. A 17-year-old student from Kingston Technical High School who fatally stabbed her schoolmate last Thursday afternoon has been charged with murder. Police sources said after a long question and answering session, the student was charged on Monday for killing of the 16-year-old Maron Campbell. The 17-year-old fifth form student is scheduled to appear in the family court in downtown Kingston, Jamaica. On Monday, Fayval Williams, the Minister of Education, visited the Kingston Technical High School after the traumatic incident. Williams promised to utilize programs that will assist students in de-escalating conflicts. The Minister of Justice has a restorative justice program that can help our students understand how to de-escalate conflict situations when they arise, how to interact with each other peacefully, how to resolve disagreement, how to speak to each other, and how to work together rather than in resulting in fights and arguments, Williams said. William also acknowledged that many of the students who struggled to deal with the situation will require physical support. That is the children who actually witnessed the stabbing on the compound. You must also remember that this is going to mentally affect these children who witnessed this slaughter right in front of their eyes. She said that you're going to continue to ask a question. You're going to sometimes in the middle of the night wake up and remember your schoolmate. Many of you were present when it happened, and we need to give you special psychological support to help you deal with all the emotions and continue to feel. You will continue to feel, she said. Maron Campbell was stabbed on the left side of her neck and on the left side of her forehead during a fight last week. The other student received injuries to her wrist. Both girls were taken to the Kingston Public Hospital, where Campbell succumbed to her injury. Remember, I love you, my brothers. I love you, my sisters. Most important to the Almighty God that created heaven and earth, love even more. If you cannot be good, be careful. This song is coming from Leonard Bartley. He's not here with us in the flesh, but true, we worship God in spirit and in truth. We're going to bring him back in the spirit.
Problem watching on the world artist progress they represent Felicia Chica.
The war and the crime and the violence thing, and that a mash up we country. And so when they say we could have left with no hope, but the shot of them prove him wrong. From the people them start this jamming, a pure gunshot start echo. Every little juvenile have been up them face and I say them wanna be bad man. This is a warning.
From the rape or kill a little 10-year-old, I dead you for dead in a prison. Last week them murdered the Tommy, show him lose a barrel gun. Every money them make them a buy weapon, them better buy them brave or coffin. The state of emergency now help, only Adams can make it crime done. So me a want a little son, no father, no friend, no bus, no gun. Walk away from trouble if you can.
Oh, you know see how much people are there every week. Go watch the news and you know we see it. Me want to listen to Mr. Barkley and understand. Oh, no fit done with the war and crime, like we live as one. The little old man with a gun in her hand, you shook her with a gun and take it. The last in the boy, them way I broke people from rape the sheep, what a deep ram. Look how hard the taxi man working. We no sit down and a brief for rob him. Then took him down with a special. Never see him again.
When the police and soldier them kick off the door, your mother Miss Betty start crying. You get puff in a chest and shot in a foot and handcuff on your hand. Illegal possession of firearm, they have the wanted picture. The whole community
world artist progress they represent DJ Chica.
The war and the crime and the violence thing, and that I'm a show up with country. And Joe when they say we coulda left with no open, but the shot of them prove him wrong. From the people them start this jamming, a peer gunshot start echo. Every little juvenile have been up them face and I say them wanna be bad man. This is a warning.
From your real bar kill a little 10-year-old, I dead you for dead in a prison.
Greetings and salutations. Boy, I really didn't want to chime into the teacher migration business, but I find myself in a predicament that warrants some ventilation. So last year, December 2021, a student told me to go suck my mother, and she literally threatened my life. I don't want it to be about the things that you said, but just know that every letter of the alphabet, every expletive known to man, every color known to man, the student went and told me about it. All right? Fair enough. Now, I know say if me did answer the pitney, it would have reached right as upon social media, and I would have been, uno would have said me wrong, right? Because the teacher them never write it. The pitney them right, and them have how much rights, and them bring their parents and all these things. So, took a lot of emotional intelligence, a lot of self-control to really not answer the student, but I felt threatened nonetheless. Anyway, the student was suspended, and I think day 3 into her suspension, I saw her on campus, and I locked myself in the office, and I called the powers that be, and I asked to be escorted off so I could leave with my life, right? Because I don't know why she is over there. Anyway, fast forward to a new academic year, the academic year 2022-2023, and now my HOD is going to tell me.
Hey, yo, Sam, man, I need more volume than this. Turn the volume.
Not only has the student been reinstated, but the student has been placed in the same program I teach and in my class, all right? So the same class where she failed because before she do her practical exam, she actually decided to tell me off. That the same class there, then put her back in. Now, it's culinary arts me teach, so you know, so me teaching at the kitchen. So the woman would have access to what? To knife, to hot pot, to hot oil, to all these types of things, right? That is now going to give her the tools now to act upon her threat. There was no discussion with me. I got an email in January to say that the investigation stopped because the student had voluntarily withdrawn. So as to how we reach here, so this new academic year, I don't know. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm a little bit disgruntled that my institution would not have had any discussions with me on how we move forward, even how I teach the student, what is going to protect me. So when you see a teacher them move over to the greener grass, and not just because the money maga, you hear? It is for our own safety. You understand? Because like right now, they can't pay me enough money for me to stay over there, so because I don't feel safe, right? So bear that in mind.
Watching them on the world artist progress they represent for DJ Chica.
The war and the crime and the violence thing, and that I'm a show up with country. And Joe when they say we coulda left with no open, but the shot